gather round, my eager students of the dark arts. Let me teach you about one of humanity's most delicious paradoxes, the weapon of false humility. You see, while the masses stumble through life believing that humility is a virtue, how adorable. The true players understand it as what it really is, a devastatingly effective tool for domination. Machiavelli knew this. Every tyrant, every corporate climber, every social manipulator worth their salt knows this. And now, lucky you, you're about to learn it too. Lesson 1. Genuine humility is for losers. Let me be brutally clear about this. When someone with power appears humble, they're not being virtuous, they're being strategic. The truly humble don't seek power in the first place, do they? No. They're off somewhere, living their quiet little lives, bothering no one, threatening no one. But the person who claws their way to the top while wearing a mask of modesty? Oh, that's an artist at work. That's someone who understands that the fastest way to make people lower their guard is to appear as though you've already lowered yours. It's beautiful, really, in its calculated cruelty. Here's what your naive friends will never understand. Playing humble is the ultimate power move, precisely because it doesn't look like a power move. Observe how this works in practice. The executive who says, "Oh, I'm just part of the team," while systematically positioning themselves as indispensable. The politician who claims to be a simple servant of the people, while building an empire of influence. The colleague who insists, "I don't want to take credit," right before taking all of it. They've mastered what Machiavelli understood centuries ago. That appearing to lack ambition is the perfect camouflage for ruthless ambition. The sheep never see the wolf coming when it's dressed in sheep's clothing and bleating about how it's just one of the flock. Let me walk you through the psychology of why this works so devastatingly well. Because understanding your prey is essential to hunting them effectively. Humans are wired to trust humility. It signals non-threat. It suggests safety. When someone presents themselves as humble, our primitive brains interpret this as, "This person won't hurt me." How wonderfully, tragically wrong we are. The false humble operator exploits this hardwired response like a master pianist playing a familiar tune. They know that by appearing self-effacing, they trigger your protective instincts rather than your competitive ones. You want to help them. You want to support them. You want to give them opportunities because surely someone so modest deserves a break, right? Congratulations, you've just been played. You've handed power to someone who pretended not to want it, which is exactly how they ensured you'd give it to them. The genius, and I use that term with cold admiration, lies in the misdirection. While you're busy being charmed by their apparent lack of ego, they're studying you, cataloging your weaknesses, and positioning their pieces on the chessboard. The false, humble operator never stops calculating. They're counting every favor they do for you, which they'll call in later. Noting every vulnerability you reveal, which they'll exploit when necessary. And building a reputation as one of the good ones, which serves as perfect cover for their machinations. Knowledge is power, and power favors those who stay close to the source. Like, subscribe, and return to the chamber where truth hides in shadow. Machiavelli wrote that it's better to be feared than loved. But he also understood something even more sophisticated. It's best to be underestimated. And nothing makes people underestimate you quite like a convincing performance of humility. Let me give you some modern applications, because this isn't ancient history. This is happening around you right now, and you're probably falling for it. The startup founder who talks endlessly about empowering the team while ensuring every major decision flows through them. The influencer who posts about staying grounded and being real, while carefully curating every aspect of their image to maximize parasocial manipulation. The manager who says, "My door is always open," while mentally filing away every complaint for future use against the complainer. The friend who always plays the role of humble listener, gathering intelligence on everyone's secrets, weaknesses, and fears. Information is power, and they're building an arsenal while you think you're having heart-to-hearts. These people have read the manual. They understand that in a world that claims to value authenticity, the best mask is the one that looks like no mask at all. Here's the part that should disturb you most. The tactic works even when people suspect it. Even when you have that nagging feeling that someone's humility seems performative, you'll likely give them the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because calling out false humility makes you look like the bad guy. It makes you seem cynical, paranoid, jealous. The false humble operator has built-in protection. Anyone who challenges their act appears to be attacking a virtuous person. It's a perfect trap. They've positioned themselves so that exposing them requires you to look worse than they do. Machiavelli would slow clap at the elegance of it. And let's address the elephant in the room. You're probably wondering if you should adopt this strategy yourself. That's why you're here, isn't it? You want to know if you should play humble to dominate. Here's my cold, clinical assessment. If you have to ask, you probably lack the stomach for it. This isn't a tactic for the faint of heart. It requires you to maintain a performance indefinitely, to never slip, to remember that every interaction is theater. It requires you to feel nothing while appearing to feel everything. It demands that you become comfortable with the fact that every relationship you build is fundamentally transactional, that every kindness you show is an investment in future leverage, that every moment of apparent vulnerability is actually a calculated move. In a game most people don't even know they're playing, the truly masterful practitioners of false humility don't just use it as a tactic. They've internalized it so deeply that they might even believe their own performance. That's the final evolution. When the mask becomes the face, when you can no longer distinguish between your strategic self-deprecation and genuine self-perception. At that point, you've transcended mere manipulation. You've become a living paradox, simultaneously humble and dominating, weak and powerful, genuine and false. So, here's your final lesson, my aspiring Machiavellians. The person who appears most humble in any room is either genuinely powerless or dangerously powerful. Learn to tell the difference or become someone's stepping stone. The game is always being played. The only question is whether you're a player or a piece. And if you still believe that someone powerful can be genuinely humble without it serving their interests, well, then you've already lost. Class dismissed.